you can say all you want, but if you're not doing it, like you're saying, if there's no fruit, then it's meaningless.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the official Emmaus Athletic Podcast. In the Nest, I'm your co-host, Shane Douglas, here with Matthew Tomlinson. Matt, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, Shane. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing good, you know. It was a tough Sunday. You know, it wasn't the outcome I wanted, but
right.
It was still pretty good. Talking about the Super Bowl, of course, with the Kansas City Chiefs winning.
The snacks good. That's really what matters.
The snacks good. The snacks were pretty good. Yeah, I made a buffalo chicken dip like every other person in America.
Right.
Everyone thinks they have the best buffalo chicken dip, but I feel like I actually do. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I do. I got the recipe from my father. But
nice.
So if you like buffalo chicken dip,
who is a Buffalo Bills fan?
He is a Buffalo. Yeah, he was born in Buffalo too, so that it makes sense. So I definitely have the best. You know. So haven't tried many other people's, but the ones I have tried, like not that good. Especially ones you get at the store. But your snacks good? Were your snacks good?
Yeah, we were at the Rasmussen's, and I always enjoy what Kevin and Laura make there. So Kevin being he's our kind of like our life coach on our team. Like he's an Emmaus alum, he's a basketball alum, but his role this year is kind of like pouring into the coaches, and it's been really cool.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
What do they make? Like you say, like it's like a huge thing.
Yeah, it was like they made pulled pork, and then Laurel makes these really good enchiladas.
Very nice. So you had like a whole meal.
Yeah.
I feel like Super Bowl should be like a national holiday. It already feels like it is, you know.
I mean, everyone takes Monday off anyway, so it's like
a lot of people do.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, but
it's good. It is what it is. But
no, Super Bowl is always fun. It's always good to watch that and hang out with friends, family, etc. Have some good snacks, like you said, and then root for a team. I haven't really enjoyed the Super Bowl for a while because the Chiefs are always in it, and I do not like the Chiefs.
Right.
So I'm hoping that next year I can enjoy it. You know, I don't care who wins, but either way. Thank you, everyone, for making us a part of your day this Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon or whenever you do listen to us. We do appreciate it. So thank you again for hitting the video and giving us those views, whatever, but also just the support as well. So again, thank you for making us part of your day. Today we're going to talk about quite a bit, not too much really, but I would say quite a bit. Some heavy stuff to talk about, but we're gonna recap the basketball games that happened.
5 games to cover.
5 games to cover that happened the past week and a half ish. And then we're going to talk about the future games coming up. And then we're going to piggyback on the conversation we had last week about not just Brock Purdy, but Christians in sports and what it looks like to honor the Lord after the game that goes beyond telling a reporter this win goes to Jesus. So we're going to kind of talk about that topic and maybe some good ways and what the Bible kind of says about the fruit of the Spirit and what it truly looks like other than just that one
the words
sentence
that come out your mouth.
What's the repeated sentence everyone says?
First and foremost, I like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Is that truly the fruits? Is it the only fruits that matter? So we'll talk about that a little bit, and then if we got some time, we'll go into a top 5, a little segment that
should be a fun one.
It will be fun for especially the alumni of the Emmaus friends of the college who've been to a couple classes. We're going to do a top 5 of our favorite classes, I guess, that were, just a spoiler. I feel like...
Spoiler alert.
Whatever. I mean, it doesn't really matter. So if we got time, we'll do top 5 favorite classes. And if we don't have time, maybe we dodged a bullet, right? So
we'll see.
We'll see. So we'll try to make it to the top 5. But either way, Matt, let's talk about Emmaus Athletic Sports. What has happened these
here we
past
go.
week or so?
So this past weekend, we had our annual... or I guess our biannual trip down to Manhattan, Kansas.
Yes.
Where we played Manhattan Christian
Always
College.
a pleasure.
And then they hosted us the next day against Barclay College.
Okay.
So, guys, we just had a game on Friday because the Manhattan doesn't have a girls team. They had to cancel their girls team this semester. So the girls didn't have a game on Friday, but we did. Manhattan's the number 1 team, the number 1 undefeated team in the conference. And so we actually...
They're undefeated in the conference?
They're undefeated in the conference. Okay. And so we played them actually a lot better this time around than we did the first time. So, obviously, loss is a loss, but the areas of improvement from the first time we played them were a lot better. And so that was definitely encouraging to see. Had some guys out, and so some of the freshmen and guys that don't normally play as much really stepped up, and so that was really encouraging to see that happen on Friday. And then going into Saturday, the girls had a 10 a.m. game. We had a noon game.
Ooh, 10 a.m. game?
10 a.m. games
That's terrible.
They are killer.
You got to get up at like 6 or 7 to be prepared for that.
The worst. And so they played Barkley, who they had lost to earlier in the year. I think it was like 5 points, I think. Mm-hmm. And they ended up losing again by 6 points. It was a really low scoring game. It was 47-41. And especially for them, like their issue this year is just they can't score the ball.
Yeah.
And so like once they can make layups, make those shots, I mean, it's a whole different season for them. And so that was encouraging, like, stings to lose, but they were right there. And then our game was ridiculous. I mean, we came out, had a amazing first half. I think we shot like 50%. We were up 19 at halftime against Barkley.
That's nuts.
Who we lost to by 21 earlier in the year. Or was it? I think it was 19 actually. And we going in halftime, we're like, oh boy, like we have this lead. And the last time we had a lead this big, we ended up losing against Faith the first time. But the guys played amazing. It was really cool to see. We ended up winning by 23. And so that was a huge win for us, for our team, and especially against a really good Barkley team too. Like they just had a really bad game. And I mean, everyone has those now and again, but it was super encouraging.
Some more than others.
Right. Yeah, some more than others.
Maybe we're part of that too, but
right. But it was just super encouraging to have that. And I think it was really good. It was a nice, enjoyable 8-hour ride home after that.
That's always good. The drive home is always better when you have at least one W.
And then Tuesday night, it was the home game that we hosted Faith. And so the girls came out, played a really good game.
They did.
They ended up winning, which they beat Faith 48-40, which that game had huge implications on the conference standings.
Really?
And so with our girls beating the Faith girls, that really can really shift the seeding and how the tournament goes next week.
It's going to be wild.
It is. It really was. So that was super encouraging for them to win. And then we played after them and couldn't quite pull it out. Yeah. Like it was unfortunate. We ended up losing by 8.
It was really tough.
Yeah, it was 72-64.
So many chances.
Offensively, we struggled. We could not literally make a basket in the first half, and it kind of dug us into a deep enough hole that we couldn't get out of. And like we said, you have those games; those ones hurt. That one definitely stung. I have had a hard time sleeping these last 2 nights, but it's all good. And so just knowing, like, okay, because with sports, the biggest thing are like what you do well, and you keep capitalizing on that, and then you learn from what you don't do well. And if you keep doing what you don't do well, you're not going to win. And so you have to take what you don't do well and you have to get better at that. And so, for us, it's rebounding and it's, being consistent on offense. And those were our 2 biggest issues, and they definitely showed. And so we'll see what happens, because we play Maranatha tonight, and they're a good team as well. But it's a game that we could easily win or lose. And so just learn from what happened on Tuesday and take the good and run with it, and learn from the bad and improve off that. And it should be a fun game tonight. So
and not to over spiritualize it, but it's a good outlook on like our lives, our Christian walk too.
It really is.
Like sports is an amazing thing. Paul was an athlete himself, and there's so many things that relate from athletics to like our Christian walk.
Many.
So it's really cool, and that's why you have a huge ministry of FCA that's out there. But how it relates of really, you got to put in practice to get better. You got to see the mistakes you made, things that prevented you to get over that hump,
right? And
then you got to go practice. You got to make yourself better. You got to sharpen yourself.
You can't make these issues that you have habitual,
yeah,
where it's over and over and over and over. No, it's like you got to learn and move on, and if you want to get better and ultimately, see those results.
Ultimately, what makes you better is other people.
Yeah.
Right? It's not necessarily, all the time, like, you can go into the gym, work out.
Like they say, practice makes perfect. Yeah. No, it's perfect practice makes perfect. And having your teammates, having your peers push you to get better, rather than, I'll get better. And then you go through the motions.
Yeah. Or even just going like working out by yourself, which is also great. Right. But what does really make a huge impact and really pushes you forward as quickly as possible is iron sharpens iron. Yes. You know, practicing with a friend, a player, a coach.
That sounds like a biblical theme right there. Like
it
you're
is.
Just saying.
So exactly, yeah. It is a biblical theme of looking at not just your athletic career. Of man, I got to get better at this. I got to really sharpen these areas. But look back. Look in the mirror. Look at yourself and how you can sharpen yourself in your Christian walk. Outside of the court, off the field, wherever that is. How can you be a better student, a better husband, a better teammate. Yeah. So and looking to the Bible for those answers. And again, not to over spiritualize it. I know,
but they literally go hand in hand.
They do.
They literally do.
It is really cool, and also just encouraging to the players, any player out there that is listening, that look at it not just on the field but off the field. You know, and honestly, sometimes off the field can coordinate with issues or off the field can coordinate with issues on the field. So.
And especially like with how schools in our realm, in our conference, in our region, in the NCAA are set up. It's like there's often times where you even see like you said, like outside things coming in. Like sometimes like you see like, hey, why is this person not playing well, or why am I not playing well? It's like, oh well, I'm spiritually struggling right now, and it's like I need to get all facets of life together in order to succeed. Because literally, like I know like people kind of get when they hear body, mind, soul, it kind of throws up red flags. Like, okay, is that yoga? Is that the weird spiritual stuff? But no, it's true.
Eat, pray, love. Eat, pray, love.
Right. But it's true. Like you need to have physically, you need to be there. Mentally, you need to be there, and spiritually, you need to be there, because they all feed off each other.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and
yeah.
I was gonna say something, but I kind of forgot it. But
my bad.
I mean, no, you're good. It's the temple. It's the body. You got to really take care of it.
Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who lives within you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So again, just an encouragement for you athletes out there and everything going there. But let's talk about some of the games coming up.
Yep. So we got Maranatha tonight, which should be a great game, and then both teams are traveling. So just guys are playing because girls already played them earlier. It's the
last home game too.
Last home game of the year, so it should be a good one. We get to hear Anna Harwood sing the national anthem tonight. That's cool. It's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
And then on the road Saturday morning, we're driving down to Central Christian College of the Bible in Moberly, Missouri. And then that's our last regular season game before conference regional tournaments. So
that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
You said Moberly?
Yep. That's
CCCB.
Yes, Tracy B.
CCCB. What'd you just call them?
Tracy B.
Tracy B.
That's how they call it. Yep.
That's what they say?
Yep.
Tracy B.
3 seasons.
I can do that. I like that. It's better than just like making the overused joke of
CCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCCC the start of the conference tournament.
So if we're playing Maranatha tonight, do we know where we stand seeding wise conference next week?
So Saturday's game will kind of, depending on what Saturday does, because Thursday's game won't affect conference. It'll affect region, but Saturday's game has potential to affect what seed we are.
Is it too much mathematics for you? Math?
I haven't looked at the I haven't looked at it, but I mean, if it's so ideally, because with a 7-team double elimination bracket, the ones on the top side, and then I think if right now we're sitting at 7, so we're on the bottom side of the bracket, so we would be the 2 seed, and then 6 seed would be on the top side. I think is that how it works, and so we'd be looking at probably playing Ozark right now.
Do you so what kind of bracket does the MCCC do? Is it the lowest seed will always play the high seed, or is it like you just get put on a side of the bracket and you finish
right?
That?
So it was when we had 8 schools, but now that we only have 7 schools, the 1 seed will get the bye.
Yeah,
and so then they'll play the winner of, is it 3 and 6?
Okay, so they're automatically in then.
Yeah, so they're automatically
or they're
in.
like
So they have one game
not automatically in. Okay,
but then it stinks. Like if you're on that side of the bracket, if you lose, you don't play. You don't get to play an extra game.
So okay, so it wouldn't matter too much because then they would automatically just they get the bye, then they play the lowest seed, and then if they win, they're in the championship.
Because I'm not. That's a good question. I don't know what it is because like you think about like even like the NFL playoffs, like it was always like.
It'll be mixed around.
Yeah, it was mixed around. So a good question.
I think that's how it is because I mean if it's not
I
think that's 7 teams, one team gets a bye, then everyone plays based off of the high to the low.
And then lowest seed ends up playing the 1 seed or something. Then, so
that all makes sense.
Yeah, so we'll find out next week. But
I guess so. We'll be talking about it.
Yeah.
Wait, when do you guys travel next week?
We'll probably leave. Well, I guess it depends if we play an early game on Thursday or not.
Let's say you do.
We'll probably leave early Thursday because it'll probably be like a 2 p.m. game or something something like that.
Okay, so we'll see you next week on the podcast then.
Hopefully. Otherwise, we're doing on the road.
No, probably not. Well, I'll probably have like Will come in.
No, we should be because remember we're leaving. Oh, that's right, because we're leaving right after we record next week to go to the youth group thing.
Either way. Anyway, good stuff. Looking forward to conference play. Finishing conference play. Then the Maranatha game tonight's always going to be a good one. Wait, what we lost to them?
We did
earlier this year.
Last year.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. Well, the season. Yep. So, is there just to like continue on this Emmaus athletic run? What's the team's mindset at right now? Like, is there like a thirst for revenge or? Because I know a lot of them, everyone like holds a grudge against. Everyone holds a grudge against Maranatha specifically. Yep. So
I mean, we want to win, obviously. But
you always want
to win even more, especially at home against your rival. So
mindsets are pretty good. Everyone's just set like let's just win, baby.
Hopefully,
Al Davis.
I think so. But
okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that game. If you are in the area, please come out tonight, Thursday, February 17th. Come out tonight, 6 p.m.
That's crazy how fast this month's gone by the way. It's ridiculous.
Oh, goodness gracious. Can't get stuck in the phases, Can't always be looking to the next phase.
Get stuck in the phase.
So live your day out day by day. All right, well, let's get into let's move on from Emmaus Athletics, but really looking forward to the games. Wow. Yep. No, we love Emmaus.
We do.
No. Okay, so Super Bowl. Super Bowl was fun. We talked about, your favorite food. You got your pulled pork and enchiladas if there's no cheese on them. Before we get into I did like for people who didn't watch the Super Bowl, what happened is the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers went into overtime, and there's new overtime rules.
Like brand new rules. Like half the players didn't even know what the rule was.
Yeah, so what it is the old rule is whoever scores a touchdown, if you're the team and you have the ball, you have possession of the ball first, and if you score a touchdown, you win. If you score a field goal, the other team has an opportunity. So a touchdown wins the game, okay? Mm-hmm. But now it doesn't matter what
both teams get an opportunity no matter what happens.
So both teams get the ball. It doesn't matter if you score a touchdown and 2-point conversion or extra point, the other team will get the ball to answer back. So that's what happened. 49ers drove down the field, kicked the field goal. I thought they should go for it because they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, and I was saying that. You can ask anyone at the Super Bowl party with me. I said, they're on the 9-yard line, 4th and 4. Go for it. You don't get it. You back them into the territory. Your defense played decently well,
But the Chiefs are going to score no matter if you score a touchdown, kick a field goal, or don't score.
And that's why you score. So the Chiefs got the ball back. They score a touchdown. They win the game.
Yes.
So the whole idea is like, what's the new strategy? Because the strategy used to be like, you always elect to take the ball.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are talking about the new strategy is don't take the ball first.
Because
kick the ball off.
It's like that college, in college where both teams get a chance and you want the ball second.
You want the leverage.
Your defense did first. Yeah.
You want the opportunity when the ball is in your hands to win the game.
Yep.
And electing to take the ball first with the new rules, you cannot win the game, right? You have to give the other team the opportunity to win the game, right? So let's say you get the ball first, you go downfield, score a touchdown, kick the field goal, the other team gets the ball, they scored a touchdown, then they go for two and they win.
Yeah.
So the strategy's new, and you mentioned this just shortly, but I thought it would be kind of fun to, just mention it. But you mentioned
it should be like soccer rules or like FIFA rules where
it's not golden goal.
It's not goal. Yeah, it's not. It's a regular time expires, and then like with soccer, they literally play 2 15-minute halves.
I wouldn't even say 15.
But even something like they should just play
one quarter.
I mean, everyone's watching the Super Bowl anyway. Like you're gonna have bonker ratings anyway. Why not do it where you play a little bit more, where you play 2 more quarters or whatever it might be, and then after that, if no one scores or if it's still tied, then you go to.
Mm-hmm. I would say one full quarter
because that's what a lot of people were worried about because the Chiefs scored as the first quarter of overtime expired, but they're saying it doesn't matter because with the rule, you get an opportunity to score no matter what.
And to be fair to the Chiefs, like this is when it changed the outcome because they scored with 6 seconds left, 6 seconds left in overtime anyway. So it honestly they would have won anyways. But I think it would be cool to like have a full quarter. Doesn't matter who scores, how many points, or like when they score, but whoever has the most points at the end.
Especially
of that quarter.
for being the final game of the year in the championship.
Yeah. And after the game, as usual, the sideline interviewers come up to the MVP or just the star of the team. You know, for the Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes, and they always are asked the questions. You know, talk me through that last drive, Patrick. You know, what were you guys thinking? What was the play call? And what do they say, Matt?
You know, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
That's good.
But no.
That was good.
But I mean, like, yeah, because like kind of what we're talking about, like, you know, you hear that all the time. Like we studied it last week when we were talking about Brock Purdy and that, you know, and CJ Stroud. And it's like, okay, that's great. Like, I love hearing that. But then, like we're saying, okay, you say that after you win, which, but what are you doing at the Super Bowl parade? Yeah. What are you doing afterwards? It's
what are you doing during the game?
What are you doing during the game? Like, you know, after the game, you'd be, woo, you know, this win goes to God. I want to thank you, Jesus, my Lord and Savior. You know, I'm a Christian, yak, blah, blah, blah. And then people are like, wait a minute, wasn't he screaming at the officials all game? Wasn't he talking trash to the other team? Wasn't he playing dirty? And it's like, okay, like, you're talking the talk, it appears, but you're definitely not walking the walk. And that's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. It's like, you know, it's like the whole thing, like, you know, do as I say, not as I do. And it's like, you know, how do you, because it's needed in all contexts. We talked last week, like, you know, it's not just sports. It's at work, it's at home, it's wherever. It's like, you know, you can say all you want, but if you're not doing it, like we were saying, if there's no fruit, then it's meaningless.
Yeah,
it's meaningless.
It goes back to, you know, the fruit of in Galatians 5, the fruit of the Spirit, and then kind of connecting that a little bit with, you know, I'm thinking of John 15 with Jesus is the vine,
the vine, the true vine,
and the vine is if Jesus is with you and you're with Him, then you're gonna produce fruit. You're gonna produce good fruit. And what that fruit is the fruit of the Spirit in Galatians 5, and you know, and that's not just what you say when the cameras are on you, you know, but when the cameras are off you.
Yeah.
And that I mean, a lot of that, like when it comes to sport, is during the game, before the game, after the game.
You're in the bright lights.
Especially on a stage, on a stage like the Super Bowl or in a championship game, the NBA Finals, whatever it is. What are you doing before the game, during the game, and after the game? That's real. That is going to be oozing those fruits of the Spirit. What is that, right? It's not just going on stage and accepting an award and saying, you know, first and foremost, I want to thank God for everything. That is awesome, and I love that.
Praise the Lord.
It does,
that.
but like, and nothing, and we're not. I'm not thinking about, and I don't think I think we're both in this boat. Is we're not thinking about anyone specific. Maybe we're not.
We're not. But I mean, obviously, we both know.
Yeah.
You know, celebrities out there, athletes out there, even friends out there that you know say this, but then as soon as they look the other way, it's like, wait, it's not. Things don't line up.
They don't line up. And there's a reason Paul talks about how there's many people, many false teachers who, you know, they're not Christians. They don't have a relationship with Jesus, yet they're still proclaiming Christ. And he is thankful for that.
Yeah, great that Christ is getting out there.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah.
So to like so many people who do thank the Lord, awesome that his name is being mentioned.
Keep it up.
That is amazing. Yes. We love that. Like, I mean, we love it, but like the Lord loves it. I mean, it's good. It's good for the kingdom, for the growth. It really does plant seeds.
It does.
It is amazing how the Lord can, you know, even use unbelievers to plant seeds, right? And if we don't know those people's lives, we only see what the camera shows us of, you know, these celebrities, these athletes, and the way they live. So we don't know what goes behind the scenes, right? We don't know the full story of that, but we do know. We got to take for what we do know, and what we do know is that sometimes they don't show the fruit. They don't have. I guess you walk the walk of a Christian, because you know then after you win the big game, you're out partying, getting drunk. Or even just, you know, saying, you know, foul language, right? And even if, and that doesn't mean, you know, Christian, like, because if you curse, you're not Christian, but
right,
that's not it at all. It's just,
but it goes back to the wholesome talk.
Yeah.
And what are you, like, what are you putting in? Because, like, we can, like, even us, we could be saying all this to you guys, and then, we turn off the camera and then we go back and we, fill our minds with, bad music, or we're gossiping, or we're doing this or that or everything. It's like, no, it's like, we have to be living out what we're saying.
Yeah.
We can't just be saying, we're thankful for our time at Emmaus. We grew in our faith. We're both youth leaders. Great. What's going on outside of that?
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to be, and I think that's even more important, especially for people that do have, like, pastors, youth leaders, if you have, the influence that you have, it's even more important because people are, like, young children are watching you, like, youth are watching you. And it's not just, the 20 to 50 year olds that are cheering you on the Super Bowl. Like, no, like, you have just as many eyes, just a different age group. And I think it's like, we just have to be so conscious of what we do, of what we say, of what, you might think, like, okay, exactly, like, if I do this, like you see things like, okay, how many times have we seen, like, a video pan out of, like, an athlete picking up trash, like, on the sideline, and they're like, oh, like, that's so great. And it's like, okay, like, are you doing that when no one is watching? Are you doing that when there are no cameras? It's like, obviously, like, I would hope so.
Where's the work? Where's the fruit?
Yeah, where's the fruit? Where, like, what is the purpose behind what you're doing? Like, are you saying these things like, thank you, God, just because like, you're going to appease one area of your fan group?
Yeah.
Or are you actually being like, no, thank you, God, for this opportunity, for this? And it just goes so much together. And I think, like, there's just so many, people out there that struggle with that, like, especially, like I was saying, like, I even think, like, at our level, like, how often do I know, like, hey, like, obviously there are some teams we play that don't have Christians on their team, but majority of the teams we do are full of Christians. And it's like, but also sometimes, they're the ones that are the worst at, questioning every call, or, being chippy. And, like, obviously there's nothing wrong with, playing hard, but where's that line of, when you step over that line and, you are talking that trash, or you are saying foul things, or you are saying degrading things. And it's like, no, like, it has to be together.
It's starving the flesh. Yes. It's denying yourself and what you want to say, what you want to do in those moments when time gets tough, when the game gets rough. Like, you want to, like, hurt someone, right?
And, like,
you want to be like, I want to show you
what. We all struggle in something. We're all sinful, fallen human beings. But yeah, it's like, we have to deny ourselves, deny the flesh of those intrusive thoughts, those, maybe people would say, in my previous life, I struggled with this, or I had a sailor's mouth, or whatever. But it's like, okay, what can you take from then and get rid of it to where you're at now?
Yeah. And here's another, and that's the thing is, like, we're not really putting down any, like I said, we're not putting down any athlete specifically, no one. We don't want to put down anyone. But the thing is, like, and we don't know, like I said,
we don't know their situation,
lives,
their personal life, or whatever.
But it's just an encouragement to athletes out there. It's like, really,
and a good reminder.
Take this as a reminder of walking with Christ every second of the day, on, off the field, pre-game, during the game, post game. It's not just the post game and saying and giving him honor and glory, and then going talking about me, or even going to behind the scenes, away from the camera, doing
who knows,
feeding your flesh in whatever way, but starving the flesh, surrendering yourself, obeying the Lord, being a good steward of where the Lord has placed you.
Yes.
As an athlete, if that's at Emmaus Bible College, or if that's on a big stage, at the NBA Finals or the Super Bowl, what you do before, during, and after is what really, really shows those fruits, really shows your character. And so that's an encouragement to you young athletes out there to really consider, like, how are you honoring the Lord? How are you glorifying Him? Not just on the field, but off the field and every day.
Is it before competition? Is it after competition? Is it during the competition?
Yeah.
Like, it has to be all three. It can't be one or the other. It has to be all areas.
And here, to circle back to what we were talking about, of like how sports has such a
it's
beautiful
a
comparison to like the Bible. another sports thing is it's a marathon.
Yeah.
It's not a 100-meter race,
Nope.
right? It's not what you do just for 1 year of your life or one interview or one game. It's all those games. Every interview, your entire life, from when you're
middle school, high school,
from
college.
when you're born to when you die. Yeah. How are you living that life of a Christian? Are you acting as if the light is always on you and you always have to respond the good ways, or is it when the light is away, when the camera's away, how are you responding then?
Are you still genuine in being, who you are through Christ?
Are you only acting as a Christian, only honoring the Lord when the camera's on you, or are you also doing it when it is off you? So that's something to consider. Is like, it is a marathon. It's not just a 100-meter race, 200 meters. It's a marathon. So we have a long race to run.
We do.
And
really
that goes for us too. Like up here, it's like we're here, we're preaching to the choir, we're preaching to just a little camera right there, We're talking
the camera's literally on us. But.
Yeah, but we're talking. Yeah, exactly. But what are we doing behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Like with this we could be treating it like a sprint. Right, like there could be a couple years from now that one of us walks away from the Lord, and I hope that's not it. And I don't think that's it. Right,
I do. That won't happen.
I see the fruits from you. I hope you see fruits from me. I see fruits
from you. Yes,
and that's where you see that genuineness, the genuine relationship that person has with Jesus, and it's hard to see that with professional athletes, when the camera is always on them and you don't really see the authentic, genuine self of them when the camera's off, right? So only the people who truly know those people, who walk and live life with them, really know the story, right? The only people who, they live in the homes, they're neighbors to them.
Their family.
So know that as, young athletes, young people, even just, not even as athletes, just to know that when the camera's off, the camera's on you or the camera's off you, you should always be acting the same.
Yes. And even you should always be carrying yourself in such a way of, the Holy Spirit is just flowing through you. Jesus is just, and that's not even trying to say are you over Christianizing stuff? Everything you say is there's the comedian Michael Jr. says are you oversaved? I'm thirsty for the Lord. But it's is what you're saying lining up with what or what you're doing lining up with what you're saying? Are you being, a good Christian? Are you, saying things that are worthy of Him? Mm-hmm. Are you conducting yourself in a manner that people, non-Christians see the light coming out of you? Are you treating your Christian brothers and sisters in that way? I think it just goes so much together of you have to be doing what you're saying, and you can't just be, how many, it's so it can be frustrating, but it's also so encouraging. It's what, it just,
I'm with you.
I know.
Exactly what you're saying is kind of goes to James 1, 19 to 26, a little bit of, looking in the mirror, reflecting, you have the truth of the Lord before you. And, but also
are you yelling at your teammates for that speck in their eye when you have that log in your own eye?
And it's being hearers of the word, it's being doers of the word, not just hearers.
Nope.
That's the life of a Christian, and it goes, so just because you hear someone say something on TV doesn't mean that's their true walk, right? Just because you hear us talking behind to you on a screen doesn't mean that we're Christian, or that's our walk.
And the same thing, when you hear a negative thing, that doesn't mean who they are.
No, it's not.
Because
we don't know the whole story.
We're all fallen. We're all sinful.
And that's something that sucks about the day we live in today is the media.
Yeah.
And the cameras being shined on you, and
every time someone gets drafted and people are all pulling up old Facebook messages or Facebook or Twitter
Everyone's trying to find something.
tweets, I guess now it's called.
And it's really tough to find true genuineness in people.
Or is that authentic?
Yes, authenticity.
Yeah.
Either way. Well, we're running short on time, but let's do a top 5. Let's get into top 5.
We do have our top 5.
Let's do a top 5. So we're gonna do top 5 favorite classes, of here at Emmaus Bible College. Matt, hit me with one of yours.
All right.
Are you going to go order 5 then 1?
I was gonna go 1. I was gonna do my favorite class first.
Let's do top 3 since we're running low.
Okay, my top. Okay, so I would say a lot of people would understand this in this context, but I would say my freshman year at Emmaus, I took missions and evangelism with Mr. Joel Hernandez.
Love him.
And I just find myself daily, just remembering back to that class. And awesome. I think it just like his teaching, and then just, I mean, the portion of, what's our mission and how do we evangelize?
Yeah.
That just spoke to me so much that I would say like, that was my favorite class, because I think about it every day.
Yeah. I would probably touch on that. It's tough to me. It's tough for me to have like a number 1, 2, or 3, but I can give you 3. I can't give you the order. But speaking of Joel, I would say cultural anthropology is one of my favorites of Joel. A lot of that had to do with the people that were in the class. It was a great crew of people. We also went on a couple trips together as a class, so that was really awesome. He took us, around town to look at see other cultures. We went to El Pasanos, with a great taco place. Talked to the owner there. He made us tacos. That was great. But just the way Joel teaches who he is, his storytelling, and learning about other cultures was really awesome. So that's definitely one of them for me. And I'll give you another one. It's another one with Joel, and that one is I'm blanking on it actually right now. You go. Wait, I just blanked.
I would say one of my other favorite classes was with the Great Lake Mr. Glock, was Life of Christ.
I love that.
And
one.
How like that he taught that class probably like 100 times.
Yeah.
And he had a book, and it would have all 4 gospels lined up, and you would go through the book and just see how the gospels line up. And I mean, he was just such a great teacher and just storyteller. And I just love that class, because I hear like probably once a month I hear of alumni that still talk about that class and how they've taken their notes from that class, and they've used that to teach at their church or to do Bible studies with it. And that was one of my favorite.
I know why I was blanking, because it wasn't with Joel. It was an ICS course. It was Major Cults with Dr. Frank Yabini. Love that.
Goat himself.
Love that class. Learning about another thing about like other religions, other cultures within those religions. I won't say anything specifically.
What was the class called again?
Major Cults. It's not a class right now.
Interesting.
They're just low on ICS faculty, so they haven't taught that one for a while. But they kind of merged it with like world religions a little bit.
I took that with him, and that was eye-opening, because like obviously like you hear about like
which one do you take with
world religions? Okay. I took like you hear about like Muslims or Hindus or Mormons or whatever, but like it was like in depth, like looking at the fine-tuned points of like what they believe, and that was that was really eye-opening for me.
Yeah, and this one was really cool because we were able to like visit some of these services of these religions, and it was like super interesting, and like it was honestly convicting, because sometimes they were more friendly than when you go to a God-fearing church,
or they might know more about how to answer questions than we do in certain areas.
So, but I did love that class. That one was really fun, interesting too. So, really enjoyed that. Dr. Frank Yabini did a good job of involving us into the community and other cultures in Dubuque, outside of like religious organizations. But so that's awesome. Give me your third one.
I would say, well, it's a tough one, but third one would have been I took Bible geography with Dr. Sanchez.
Okay.
And that was part of my archaeology minor that I took the rest of the classes with Dr. J.J. Routley. And I don't know, like, obviously I'm not using my, you might say, archaeology, what a meaningless or pointless thing to do.
Fun. It's
but
cool.
Just like understanding, like, the history of cultures and how they operated and how they did things, and then seeing that firsthand, like, that was amazing. I loved it. I spent a whole month in Israel, going into my junior year, and
that's really cool.
It was just amazing to see.
Yeah, I remember you spoke about that month in Israel a little bit to me, and how you could eat everything.
Could eat everything.
Dairy wasn't a huge factor there.
I also didn't touch a basketball when I was there, and I should have, but
that's tough. Should have brought it with you. Pumped it up there. This is tough because I only got one more slot, but I love every class I had with Jeff Riley and Reagan Banaski, as they were both my professors. EM. So as I was EM, I will have to say, marriage and family was amazing. I took my freshman year. Should have waited. I wanted to take it again. Couldn't make it work this semester as I'm getting married in May. I also love teaching Bible, but the one I do think about a lot is small group ministry with Reagan Banaski. Really awesome class. Taught me a lot of tangible things that we can take within the church, out of the church, and especially with hospitality and when it comes to discipleship. And doing ministry and making it a real thing. So really did love that. And it was really hands-on, and I'm a hands-on learner. So
especially with those,
we met so outside of class a lot, and like we had to run our own small group with like not strangers, but like a different community outside of Emmaus. But it really did push you a little bit, but it was really awesome, and I learned a lot from that. So great stuff. But
that's great. Well, for our listeners, for our alumni, for our listeners at the other Christian colleges in our conference, we'd love to hear about what have been your favorite classes when you were in college, and just, I mean, the common bond of the Bible and spiritual things. Like, there's so many great things out there, but we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I was just actually at Texas Roadhouse in Des Moines this last weekend. Went home to see my mom a little bit for a day, and guess who, the waiter was a Faith alum.
Really?
Yeah, so funny.
That's so funny.
Really crazy, right? Small world of just.
That is.
I saw he was like he seemed different. Seemed different, you know.
Interesting.
And I was like looking. I'm like, I wonder if this guy's a believer. And then I talked to him a little bit. I'm like, oh, where are you from? He's Minneapolis. He came down for school. I'm like, oh, what school? It's Faith Baptist. I'm like, oh. I went to Emmaus. I worked there, It's just so funny.
That's crazy.
He knew a little bit about Emmaus, but it was very interesting, really cool.
Common bond.
Yeah, so he'd study like pastoral.
Speaking of that, shout out Coach Lopez. Got coffee with him this past week, so that was cool to catch up with him about that. So.
You owe me some coffee, Coach Lopez, so I missed out on that one. So they don't want to bring me on the trips, I guess. That'd be fun. I would love to go on the trips. Maybe I do some sideline reporting. But
do that.
Either way, though, thank you everyone for listening. Definitely that encouragement from Matt of reaching out to us. Tell us your favorite classes when you were a student here at Emmaus or at your respective school in the MCCC or NCCAA conferences. We would love to hear more from you guys, your stories, and even just giving us a listen. So we love that. So again, thank you for making us a part of your day. Check out Concerning Him and all these
really good
podcasts.
things coming out.
The blog, there's a blog. I just found out there's a blog for it. So check out the blog. What else we got to tell them about?
So we got Due coming up.
Discovery Maze Weekend. Register for that. Registration is we got about 2 months of registration left, and it is filling up super quick. So
if you're not a prospective student, if you're a parent, you can still get tickets to the Shane and Shane concert. So
look into that. Reach out for questions. Call us.
Talk to Shane about the Shane and Shane concert.
There you go. Talk to Matt about me. And then, so we got Discovery Maze coming up, a bunch of other events that we're going to be going to, but we'll talk about those in the next couple of weeks. But either way, thank you for listening. Check out Concerning Him. Check out our shorts that Will Cunningham works on every day. Those are really awesome. Our recap videos of games.
Yeah, those are coming out.
If you're really interested to see more about our team and you just haven't really gotten to watch a live stream, we have less than 5 minute videos of a recap of the game with highlights. So check those out. Either way, though, thank you for listening, everyone. We appreciate you tuning in today. And Matt,
it's a great day to be an Eagle.
Have a great day.